Yo, what is going on, my YouTube people? 2099 back here with another video. And in today's video, I'm honored to be joined by a good friend, Filippo from Attack on Manager TV. How are you doing, my friend?
Sleep deprived, full of soccer, feeling good. I'm good. I'm good to go, man. I'm hyped. I'm running on caffeine and in America right now, the United States, and I'm looking forward to our match though.
So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Iran and the US game. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to smash that subscribe button. I'm very close to 3,000 subscribers. Like the video. All my socials, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, all those stuff are down in the description. And obviously the links to my good friend Filippo here will also be down in the description for you guys to check out. Let's get started. The Iran versus Wales game. It's a game that we were dominating and frankly deserved to win. I feel like the 2-0 scoreline wasn't even enough. I felt like that game should have ended 5-0 for us with the amount of chances that we've had. Yeah, I mean, we scored an offside goal, which was very weird. I feel like Osmoon should have just smashed that in. I don't know why he did an extra pass. It was very unnecessary. We hit the post 15 million times.
Three times.
Three times, all right, for the sake of these are players, Osmoon telling me they're our best players. They're supposed to be finishing at any time. Yeah, Arigorizadeh, another player that was very underrated. Really, really good on the ball. He's the one that also hit the post. And the second action after Osmoon's, Gareth Bale was silent the whole game. Kiefer Moore had one good chance, and apart from that, was pretty silent.
I watched that game too. The win was deserved. I personally thought 2-0 was overall a fair result. The way it happened was shocking, right? Because Iran really struggled to score throughout the game despite creating so many opportunities. And then you all got those goals late in the game. What would have been more fair to the Iran fan base would have been a more comfortable 2-0, right? Not having to wait to the last second. Taremi and Azmoun did a great job. The pass, you're right. I thought Azmoun could have done maybe a better job on the finish that he had in transition that he hit the post. He did a great job carrying the ball forward, but when he went to finish, it looked like he had tired legs and he kicked it pretty much falling down and he hits the post. Overall, the win, fair result. Yeah, Iran looked like a completely different team from the one that lost to England. The English game was more of an anomaly. I feel like even if Iran wasn't a good game, probably would have still lost to England. 6-2 was too much.
It was very shocking to see because I did not recognize that Iranian national team that played on Monday. It was, in my opinion, probably the worst game we've ever had. I mean, you really have to go all the way back to the 1950s to see a result like that. So it was just a completely different team, and I'm happy that we got to show the world that we're not that one bum team that's in there for nothing. Now we're going to be talking about the England versus US game, so it's all you.
Against England, we surprisingly had better opportunities, right? England had more ball possession. It wasn't that noticeable throughout the game. I think the US had the ball a lot, but we were more goal dangerous, right? We hit the bar, we hit the crossbar. Pulisic had a beautiful shot. Weston McKennie missed an opportunity. It was probably 5 yards from the goal and he hit it over the net. Dest had a good moment that he tried to dribble past Maguire. Maguire got his foot on the ball to block it last minute. Second half too, England wasn't much of a threat. The only time I remember England being a true threat was a Harry Kane shot early in the game that Zerman blocked, and that was in the box. That was a good goal-scoring opportunity for England. Outside of that, England didn't do much. There was some long shots from Mount. It was quite surprising how Greg Berhalter set up the team, a coach that is usually very much questioned. It's kind of weird to say this. We finished the 0-0 draw with England. It didn't feel as good. Felt like we could have gotten that 1-0 win, which would have been a difference maker for us. I was okay with the draw, but after the game against England, it just didn't feel good.
I truly believe Iran was very lucky to not see the US get all 3 points. It was a little bit weird because then again, the England players, they were very weird. They weren't playing as well as they should have been. Bukayo Saka was not the Bukayo Saka that played against Iran. Harry Kane was practically non-existent. Mason Mount, I don't know how this guy played the full game. Like you said, it definitely does feel like a loss for you guys. I genuinely saw it on all over social media. And from an Iran perspective, this is a perfect result for us because this now means that all Iran really need to do is to either tie or win against the US to get past the group stage. Obviously, if England do win against Wales or tie. We're going to move on to the preferred lineups and how we will see this game go on. And I'm going to let you start with the US lineup because I know there's been a lot of questionable stuff going on. I'm going to let you handle all of that stuff.
Berhalter, he'll get something right, but then he'll go and do something crazy. We're tying England 0-0 and we're playing better, and then he'll sub Dest out, which was playing well. You have a player like Giovanni Reina and you're playing for 5 minutes. You're like, nah, I don't need him. But overall, in the World Cup, compared to World Cup qualifying and before, he has been doing better. Okay, trust me, it's been crazier. For this game, I expect him to put out, again, a 4-3-3. And what you're going to see is more or less the same lineup as England, but I think he's going to put Jesus Ferreira up top instead of Haji Wright or Sargent. So Jesus, that plays in Major League Soccer, might be the center forward. Whether I agree with it or not, it's a different discussion. So if we look at it that way, the lineup will be Matt Turner on goal, Dest on the right, A-Rob from Fulham on the left, Walker Zimmerman and Tim Ream will be the two center backs. Walker Zimmerman from Nashville in Major League Soccer, Tim Ream from Fulham, Tyler Adams from Leeds United as the central defensive midfielder, Wes McKennie from Juventus and Yunus Musa from Valencia, the two central midfielders, and then Pulisic from Chelsea on the left wing, Tim Weah from Lille in France on the right wing, and then Jesus up top as our center forward from FC Dallas. I think he's going to do that because more likely Iran will play very defensive. Carlos Queiroz is known for that, and he can because he can tie the game, and he's through. He doesn't need to beat us. And the United States, which Carlos Queiroz, if he did his job scouting, they really struggle when a team plays a low block defending. The United States usually can't break it. We saw that in CONCACAF against teams that are much weaker than Iran. I would personally probably play on a 4-2-3-1 with essentially the same players, and maybe I would remove McKennie or Musa, and I'll put Giovanni Reina as a 10, put maybe a Sargent up top as a center forward. Iran's going to be very good on defense. They're going to be well-structured. They're going to hold their own, but that's not what Greg will do. He's going to go with the 4-3-3 with the players I've mentioned. Maybe the center forward will be different, but outside of that, it's probably accurate.
So we're going to move on to the Iran lineup now, in which is something I can't say as confidently as you. It's been a mess. The England game was a completely different lineup than the Wales game. The whole team was pretty much changed. Now, I can't really give you a projected lineup because with Carlos Queiroz, you really never know who he's going to put. Like, let's say, for example, our right back that played against England, Moharami, was probably our best defender. I mean, he wasn't the best, but he was decent. And he's pretty much always consistently the Iranian starter at right back. And he didn't play the Wales game at all. He was replaced by Ramin Rezayan, which, in my opinion, I think had the best fullback performance at this World Cup, for now at least. I think he was just genuinely fantastic, both in defense and in attack. He scored a goal, very emotional goal. The defense, the two center backs were the same. The left back was also the same. The same left back, Milad Mohammadi, who plays in Athens, who had a disaster class against England. He was terrible, very, very bad performance. And then the midfield was changed as well. Ali Reza Jahanbakhsh didn't start. It was Ali Gorizadeh who did. The two center mid, Izzatullahi, he didn't play the England game. He came on as a sub. He started in that Wales game. Nurullahi, he actually did start in both games, and he was actually all right. He's a little meme in the Iranian football realm as well because he's known to be not that great, but he's been very good at this World Cup, surprisingly. And Osmoon, who obviously didn't start in any game, started against Wales. Taremi is, as usual, always there. So I really can't give you a projected lineup because with Queiroz, I don't know. As for the keeper position, Ali Reza Beranvan, who obviously got that horrific concussion against England, will he be back for the US game? Does he deserve to even play now that Hosseini's been amazing as well? See, there's all these questions that I myself can't answer, and I don't know. But I think he'll stick with the keeper. It makes more sense to stick with the keeper. I think he's going to start the same fullbacks and center backs, judging by the way they played. It's also notable to know that Jahanbakhsh will be suspended because he got 2 yellow cards. I'm not going to get into much detail with this guy because he's been abysmal for us for this past few, past few years. He hasn't been that great. I think Taremi and Osmoon will start. Rizadeh has to start. If he doesn't, I'll be very surprised. I think it'll be pretty much the same thing as the Wales game. Maybe 1 or 2 players will get dropped and replaced. A player that hasn't played yet, which I'm very surprised about, is someone Godos from Brentford. I have no idea why he hasn't even played a single minute yet. Very, very weird, considering he's probably our best midfielder, some would say. Maybe he'll start against the US. We're just going to have to wait and see. But really, I think it's going to be the same lineup against Wales, minus 1 or 2 players.
You guys got a 2-0 win and you played well. I don't know as much about Carlos Queiroz, but when things worked, you don't change the team, right? You keep it. Unless he has a different strategy to face is specifically the United States, right? I guess, would you say maybe you guys are going to be more defensive than the Wales game?
I know Carlos Queiroz. He's probably going to go for a 0-0. I don't think he's going to try and score a goal, in all fairness. How I see the game going is, let's say, if Iran scores first, then the US are going to constantly attack, right? But if the US scores, I think Iran's going to be in trouble.
I'm pretty sure he'll have a plan to hold the 0-0 draw, like you said. The question is, will he have a plan in case the United States, let's say the United States gets an early goal, like the first 15 minutes. Is that going to stun Iran? The truth of the matter is the United States has no option. they're going to have to attack from minute one. The United States needs a goal, and Iran needs to be ready and open for the possibility of that happening. That means if the United States scores one, it might just open the door for two or three if you don't have a plan.
Speaking of past experiences, I'll give the Japan game as an example. Japan scored one goal and it just destroyed absolutely everything. We lost every single bit of momentum. Players went crazy. Players were frustrated. I remember Osmun was pushing every Japanese player out there. Iran is a team that is very impulsive. If something happens, they lose it.
I think the England game is a good example of that but England scored first. Maybe that led to Iran losing it. Maybe they weren't expecting England to outplay them early on or get a goal early on, and that kind of broke Iran. That could have played a role too, and that sort of matches what you're saying.
For the England game, we had our number one keeper out as well very early on, which is never something you want to see. I think that also had a huge impact.
To add to what you're saying, it does make sense though, because sometimes what doesn't go your way is not necessarily a goal, right? It seems like what you're saying is if something doesn't go as planned for Iran, the players can quickly lose it in many different ways. And losing a goalkeeper is part of that. Losing that a goal, those are things that can destabilize the team. And that's sort of what you're saying.
We all know what's going on outside of Iran is also a huge factor. And from the get-go in that England game, it was just from them not singing the national anthem. I think it was pretty clear that their minds were not focusing on the game at all. It was unfortunate, but at the same time, I understand it. The amount of stuff these guys are going through pretty much is crazy. So I think that also had an effect to it. The way I see it going is I think, like you said, we're going to be defensive the whole game pretty much. We might hit on a counterattack a few times. All right, we're going to move on to our predictions. I'm going to let you start. I usually go first, but I'm going to let you start.
I'm going with 1-0 United States. It might be a bit of the bias too. I mean, I'm not going to pick my team to lose. I'm assuming you're not going to pick yours either. The one thing I think we can agree, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think if it happens, it's the scores that I can see happening are 0-0, 1-1, or 1-0 for one side. I don't see much more happening. Maybe if it's a bigger lead, it could be the United States. I could see the United States, if they get a 1-0 early, I could see the US maybe getting a second goal because Iran will have to just open up. But more than likely, this is going to be a very low scoring game. I'm just going to say 1-0. Whoever goes through is going to have to grind the living crap out of this game.
But my prediction for the game, like you said, I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game either. Listen, the last time I said that we got destroyed 6-2. Hope it doesn't happen this time. Judging by how Queiroz is going to play, I think it's going to either be a 0-0, a 1-1, or like a 1-0.
I thought Iran against England looked very shaky on set pieces. I don't know if that's something consistent. And Weston McKennie, pretty damn good on headers. You should, people that watch the Champions League and the Serie A should know that event. I'm going to say 1-0 Weston McKennie on set pieces. I don't think the United States is going to be able to score on open play. I think they're not going to be able to break Iran like that. So it's going to be on the set piece, Weston McKennie.
Two players that scored against Wales. I don't think anyone in the world would have guessed that it was going to be them. You know, I can sit here and say Taremi or Osmun, but I'm going to give a wild shout here. I think it's going to be Ali Gorizadeh, someone who's been very good in both games, and I think he really does deserve a goal. It would be nice to see him get a goal, but who are we kidding? Who cares who scores? As long as we get one, we get one.
Oh yeah, I don't care either for the US.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Again, a huge thank you to Filippo from Tactical Manager. Thank you so much for being on this video. Like I said, all of our links and social media websites will be down in the description for you guys to check out.
That's all. Thank you very much for having me. I would say best of luck on Tuesday, but I am not wishing you the best of luck. And may the best one win. And whoever wins, make your country proud after in the round of 16. One of us will advance. I don't think Wales will go through. I think it'll be England with Iran or the United States. So see what happens.
And I'll see you guys in the next one.